We're live, Lair.
Yay!
Uncle Lair. Oh, this is our first non-guest show for a while. Oh
Yeah,
wow, those are a little rare. I see you moved.
they're fun though.
I see you
Well,
moved
no,
compared to your
I've
last
got
back.
another bridge back
Oh,
there.
you went to the other side of the bridge. This is after Raquel put money down that on the bridge,
The other, yeah.
the other
Well,
side. She's still in deciding mode whether to get that bridge or not.
yeah, that one's already sold. Sorry, that one's gone.
Oh,
I
okay.
have another one. This one's nice too. So
Okay, I see this one's lighter colored than the other one, so I
it is.
guess that probably
This one
fits in with her motif.
more stone. A little more gravitas. It's a little
Indeed.
more expensive, but not too bad.
Yes, this I agree. I sort of like the view going on this one. This is a good one. Like
Yeah.
I like it's got some green on the side. This is good.
Yes, and some kind of weird building or hat thing there. I don't know.
Yes. I got to change mine. I've been using mine since last winter, and I just realized it looks like I'm still sitting in the winter of Chicago over here. And
Well,
we're going to
Chicago.
change ours.
It's always winter in
It's
Chicago, right?
always winter in Chicago. Yes, winter is coming. It's here. It's been here. So actually, because of all this, dare I say, climate issues, we're having, let's just say, temperate temperatures. Is that a right way to say it?
That is, yeah.
The upside to it is like where someone like us, we're usually in the craziness. We're
Right.
actually more in the stable situation. I mean, crazy stuff will happen, but it just feels like it's more stable than it has been in a while. And all I can think of is like everyone else is suffering and we're doing okay. So I'm like, okay, that's going to change soon.
Right.
Karma is going to catch up to us and say, can wipe it out. Statistics say you cannot have such a good time for too long because we're going to come and get you.
For
Isn't
sure.
that a law? Is there a law in that in stats that you got to know for? It's like your good time is now coming to an end.
No, well, I mean, maybe there is. I'm not sure.
Well, I know we do it for cloud planning. Your good time will always come to an end. We don't care how much cloud we give you, but those good times,
There
plan
is
for
a
it.
cap, right? The cap is very large. Your money is very finite, right? The
Yes,
cloud is finite as well.
that's
Uh,
true. For
over a
as unlimited as it looks from sometimes when we look at it and like, oh my gosh, that's so big. And it's like, oh yeah, no one's going to use that much memory. No one's going to use that much capacity. Famous last words, as we always.
and something that's interesting that maybe many of our cloud people might not know, if when you go into your Azure subscription and you look at the caps, look at those high numbers, those are just the average people caps. You can
That's right.
actually go above those if you call in. You can
Ah,
you can talk to a TAM and you can get more CPUs and more RAM if you really do desire it. It gets more expensive, obviously, but the caps there are just
I think
reasonable
it's
limits.
not just like not just on the Azure side, but it's the idea is that here's the point: if you need it, you can buy it. Right?
Yeah,
They're not going to tell you there's no way you can have this unless you're literally asking to own the entire, West U.S. West region
right.
because you want this. And anyway, that wouldn't just come out overnight. If someone like you comes out and says, "I need so much capacity that even a Google or an Amazon or a Microsoft can't handle it," they probably saw you coming. You know what I mean? It's like we're going to need this capacity. They're not going to be ready for it. Well, how can they not be ready for it? You probably the act of planning it. There's no way that secret is going to stay a secret. You're coming in. You're stomping up about. That's like my and here's my mom telling. So we have some folks that are going to come in and stay with us while I take my trip next week. And so here's my mom telling her she's 88, so she says whatever, and she'll tell him it's like, yeah. So the routine is Ralph gets up in the morning, he turns off this lounge fan in here, and he does all this stuff. So apparently, I've been annoying all this time, and I haven't been told.
You just never know.
I just
Yeah,
haven't been told. But here's the thing: it's like it didn't come out of the blue that this will be the routine. Someone has heard you. Someone has heard it happening. Chances are, because you've done a pilot or a something somewhere, guess what? The AI, the baby Skynets or whatever, probably saw you coming. So if some people think like, well, if I ask Microsoft, what if they won't be able to supply me? Well, you know why?
well,
What the reason that they'll say no? Because you can't pay for it.
that's
That's the
right.
reason for them to say no. Not that they can't do it. They're going to say, well, we can't do it because you can't pay us.
Can't pay us. Yes.
It's
Well,
simple as that, right? So here's the thing: it's if you think that there's not going to be capacity or they can't do it, think about it. The fact that they planned beyond what we're doing. We're only thinking about our little space over here. We're forgetting that there's everyone else thinking similar thoughts or something related to it or something not related, but requiring the same kind of things. All right. So if all this is going on, there's people out there that's all their job is to do. And remember how we thought, I'm bringing up Amazon again, all that just-in-time inventory and all that stuff. How the heck does that work? How do they know that I can ask for this mouse, which thank you, Larry, for recommending it, this mouse, and it came within hours, right? And then wait a minute, I ordered 2 of them, like in just like that. And both of them came together. It's like, how do they have that figured out? Well, there's AI, there's routines that figure all that stuff out because they saw you coming. How did they guess that I might need that particular mouse? Well, other people might be using that mouse, or do they hear Larry? It's like Larry said to Ralph, he's going to get this mouse. And somebody in Amazon, I heard that on the website. Let me make sure that he's ready for it to go. No.
Well, they're watching. I mean, really, they're watching a lot of things, and it's interesting because it's not all. It's not as much your actual actions as the pattern of actions that you're taking.
Correct.
Sharing those patterns to others, and well, Ralph bought this, bought this, bought this. The last 3 people who bought those 3 items in a row asked for the 4th one 2 days later.
Yep.
So let's get that ready.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I bring that up to emphasize something that was big today because I was doing an assessment for our client, and we always tell them, it's like, you need a way to measure something, because how do you know that you came from here to there unless you have a measure that says I was here and now I'm there, and this is how I probably should feel about that. And they say the ROI in the forest that doesn't make money. Does anyone care that it didn't happen? And the point over here is, with a lot of this stuff, that analytics and those metrics, and even though Baby Skynet's running it, there's still humans at the end that are looking at this stuff. If they didn't monitor them, if they didn't watch them, because we don't need that information right now, or like it's not important, or it's just too big, I can't fit my head around it. If humans weren't actually taking a look at this, then there'll be the case where like, oh, it's not working. We can't get there. We don't have enough capacity. We got to hire people like last second, cost all this money. That doesn't really happen anymore much. And if it happens, it'll be like, it makes the news, by the way, if it happens in a, with a public company. But you don't hear a lot of these news, because guess what? A lot of people have figured it out, and they know that they need to have people that all their job is to do is not just to monitor, not just to report, but to report on the report, right? Yes. I call it reporting on the report, to see that they've read the report and they can report that they've read the report for my report.
Report was supposed to report.
And that's my report. You see what I'm saying? The idea is like, the idea is they go somewhere and it's like, hey, I'm reporting to you that this report is out there. Okay, great. That report's out there. Can you please look at that report? Why? Because I have to report on the fact that I told you about this report, and I need you to confirm that you read that report so I can report that you did, because there's another report that's going to say compliance, that the reports were read by the reporting people. It sounds crazy. The old EPS report, why was it important? If they explained it that way, the Bobs would not have taken away some of those resources, right? But that's the whole idea. A report is the Bobs will take your job away if the report sits there and nothing happens. A report that's reported upon and followed through in a report has a lot more value to what it's going to do, and it actually might not just have value. It actually is going to be meaningful. It's going to help something, right?
Now let's kind of roll it back to the cloud here for a moment, because one of the things that people might not be aware of is that Microsoft and Google and Amazon, they're constantly expanding their capacity.
It's right.
I mean, they are constantly adding new machines. Now,
it's not reactive either. They're proactively doing this.
They are proactively, predictively adding all of these resources, and so they have this supply chain coming in, and it's one of those things that it helps both sides of that equation, right? The people that are manufacturing the computers for them,
that's right,
have a steady stream of customers, right?
Yes.
But on the Microsoft side, they also know that we are going to be growing, year over year. We're going to be growing this percentage pretty much straight out. I mean, they have they have additional capacity available, but they don't buy these new machines and then put them in the racks and then turn them all off and
That's
wait. Right? No, by
Exactly.
the time they get in there, they know that they're going to have people clamoring for them and using them. They also
Exactly.
do they price it according to what the demand is and what the supply is. So there's some spot pricing that you can use to get even better deals on some of their
Right.
on some of the resources. But you know, it's pretty amazing the level of monitoring and the layers, the number of layers that they're looking at when they build out these all of these resources, all of this
Exactly.
cloud. Because, like you said, there's the report on the report on the report
Mm-hmm.
showing not only how much did we use, how much did they pay, how much did it cost, but what is the long term being 2 years, long term being 3 years,
Yes.
the 60, 90, 120 day forecast for all of these resources.
Exactly.
And there's someone whose job is to look at all of those numbers.
That's
It's
right.
really
And it's not just someone. It's a group of people, or it's a whole entire departments that's their job, is to take the small pieces and get up. I always tell people, it's like, well, here's the thing: when you have so many reports, and they say, well, it's just too much to handle. Well, then your workload's no good.
right.
You know, you're taking up too much. Why? This is the case where, like, well, the computers are going to take your jobs. No, they're going to take the job of what could have been automated, what's a tedious that shouldn't have been touched. But all this report stuff, this is still the human brains that are going to come together and catch what the AI is still not able to catch.
Right.
The
That's
AI
just,
will get you there,
you
but
know,
it can't make the decision. Should not make the final decision.
right. And because people are really good at pattern matching, right? And so
Right.
looking for those anomalies and being able to track down exactly why and all of that. So
Indeed.
good topic, good talk. I've got some throwback stuff though.
Oh, let's throwback. Hey, throwback time.
Throwback.
And we're not talking about throwback for Ralph's money, because we don't
No,
want
no.
to see that still.
I know. No, we're still underwater there. Here, let me drop a share on real fast. Here we go.
Yes, go ahead.
So
Sharing screen.
the year was 2020. No, the year was 2003.
2003. Uh-oh.
Yes. So
Wayback Machine.
Wayback Machine. So these are the top 10 most popular websites in the United States.
Oh, look at this. Hold on. I gotta
Yahoo
make this big.
Yahoo was number 1. Oh, I can make it big.
No, I have to make it big on my side too.
Yeah,
There we go.
Yahoo was number 1, AOL number 2,
Holy
MSN,
smokes.
Microsoft, eBay, Google Go, Netscape, Windows Media, and Weather.
Netscape.
Netscape, yeah. This was before they, or around the time that they blew up.
Oh, look at that.
The whole.
But this is on their way out, because in 2003, and you can already see. I bet that if we looked at that maybe like 5 years just before, that number 3 would have been higher too.
Yeah. So I don't know if you've looked at Yahoo. Yahoo still exists. Have you been to Yahoo in the past?
I've been to Yahoo in the past. I haven't been there recently. My wife still has a yahoo.com address, believe it or not.
Nice.
And because that's just say her identity forever.
Right.
She's in she doesn't have any wherewithal to change it to something else.
No need to. And my wife has got a Hotmail account for the same reason. That's her forever email.
I have my MSN.
Yes.
.com. That's right.
And then there's AOL. Right? AOL still exists.
Look at that.
And you know, it's different than it was, but it's rebranded. But one of the reasons that I went kind of throwback is because I don't know if you remember Slashdot.
Yes, I remember Slashdot.
I mean, Slashdot was the bomb, right? That was where all developers went. That's where
This was before GitHub.
Before GitHub, this is just news about technology.
Right.
And yeah, it was around. It's been around for a while, and you know, it's still there. It still has good articles.
And even the formatting looks still sort of the BBS's sort of thready look as well. Look at that. They didn't go away from that. It's still the same. At least on your big screen. I wonder what happens if you. Never mind. Don't worry. Let's look at this.
Yep. And then the next one is Winamp. Winamp hit the news recently. I don't know if you remember Winamp.
Oh yeah.
Winamp was the program that you would use to run your to play your MP3s, right?
That's right.
Back in the day.
Before Windows Media, before any of those, it was Winamp.
Right. Winamp was the king, and it's recently been. So it was purchased by AOL, but it recently is coming back out. There's a new Winamp that's going to be coming out soon.
Oh.
A next generation Winamp.
So why did they feel that they needed another one like it?
NFTs, baby.
Ah! I knew there was a linkage to what we were doing. Check it out. Wow.
There we go.
Schmott. So you want to bring yourself modern. Find, as they say, find that hook that brings you up. And so, like, look at that. Oh God. Look at that.
The idea, though, I'm assuming, I haven't read through all of their material, but the idea is that you own an asset, you own access to a certain album by having and owning an NFT.
Right.
Winamp then can pull that content from anywhere, knowing that you own the license, because the license itself is stored as an NFT in the blockchain.
It's almost like, though, you see, when I look at this and I think about the copyright for music and everything else, it's almost like that needs to be the underlying technology to that, beyond, say, what's in the because if you do that, then you can make it global, right? Because right now you got to go to the to the Library of Congress to get the official view of it. If you NFT'd it, then it doesn't have to be the Library of Congress. It can be just in the world. This is the NFT. In fact, different laws can apply things differently based on the NFT, and the NFT can be used to block completely the attempt by a nefarious third party to touch and re-own said asset.
Yeah, well, I mean, okay, yeah, it's
officially, that is.
Officially, yes, officially. I mean,
anyone can copy anything anyway. We know that. NFT doesn't block you from taking a screenshot of a picture and saying, "Hey, I made the Mona Lisa. It's mine." You know, it's not the same.
Not really own it.
Exactly.
And the good thing is, right, with the way that all of these smart contracts that are backing these NFTs work, you can actually build in a long-term residual, and people are looking at it for other works besides just music, right? You can look at it for text, for books as well, and movies, because as you can have a revenue stream set up the way that I set mine up. You remember when we set that NFT up? I said I wanted 10% of every sale going forward.
Right.
And so you don't just get money on the initial sale, you get it on every subsequent sale as well, which we cannot do today, right? So if you go out and buy, if you go to a used bookstore and buy a book, the author doesn't get an additional amount of money when that book changes hands. But with NFT, good.
You know, I was just thinking of back to, remember Raquel's example we were talking about. We said, hey, you guys should make some NFTs. Just taking things because they do like these little short videos for stuff. So if they made an NFT for someone, can actually say sort of own that piece, and it's like, even though if they're just watching on Instagram really quick and they're like, okay, that's all fine and well, but if they attempt to share it or anything else, maybe it's like, hey, would you like to make some money with this piece that you're sharing? Every time you share it, you make a little bit of bucks.
Yep.
Just a thought. And then and of course, many years later, they'll probably have values like, hey, you remember this? 10 years ago, we made this idea, and now this guy is a big star. They won Emmys and all this. And here's when they started their work. Raquel's getting ideas now. Yeah. So if you can imagine, like, for example, if Tom Hanks was making NFTs of his work from before, and then he became Tom Hanks, and he said, well, you know, would you like to, you know, monetize the stuff that I did before? Of course, I'll make the money, but you can share.
Right. I mean, it's like memorabilia, right?
Yes.
It's like selling any of the you know, the dress that that Marilyn Monroe wore in Some Like It Hot.
Right, exactly.
That dress sold for a lot of money. But there's only one of those. And the thing with NFTs, a lot of times when talking about NFTs, we think about them as individual things, but it could also be groups.
That's
you
true.
Can say, here are 100 of these, and there are only going to be 100 of them. sort of like the signed prints for certain artists. When they would do prints and they would number and sign them, those accumulated in value as well. But really, the fun thing about this is that it's about adding a different licensing scheme and also possibly a different revenue stream. And if you got a longer tail on the revenue stream for the author, does that initial bite have to be as big?
That's true.
Something else to think about.
Mm.
So it's weird. It's strange. It's economics. It's computing. It's all
right. I had blockchain behind the whole thing. We were just talking about earlier. Blockchain is getting things happen. Yep.
We haven't talked enough about blockchain.
No.
And you know, crypto. I know Ralph's money is gone, but it's still there
for now.
Well, you know, this is somewhat recently that went up and started doing this. So it's not going away. We mentioned before, hey, you know, Ethereum and Bitcoin, they've tanked as far as the price goes, but they're not going away.
Right. They're going to be there in some shape or form, and they may not be the same, but they don't go away. You're right.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's the throwback that I've got. We went through it a lot quicker than I was expecting this.
Well, yeah, because we didn't look at any things that might be there right now. Do they have any assets in there right now?
Oh, and for Winnet, no.
Yeah.
No.
So it's just starting. It's essentially here's our initiative, here's our dreams.
Yes. Their site is interesting.
So here's what we're trying to do. It's like our collection from 1997. Oh, hold on a second. Scroll back up. 1997. You know what's interesting about that date?
Why is that?
Raquel will tell you what's interesting about that date. Back in the date. Look at this. I'm alone. The Lucky 20 winners. Art selection. Iconic skin auction. Join the community.
Yeah.
There's the terms, of course. Well, yeah, I gotta have the terms. Looky look. Well, at least the site's modern looking, so you know they're having a good look at it.
It is awfully slow, though. I'm sorry. I mean, it looks great. This was done by a designer and artist. It wasn't. Yeah, it doesn't load well.
Sorry, are you using Edge? What are you on?
I'm on Brave.
Oh.
It looks the same on Edge. It looks the same on Chrome.
Yeah, it didn't look like Edge. I was going to say, it's like if you did Edge, wow, you have a skin that I don't know about, because I just saw it like I'm looking at the pins up on top. Oh yeah, browsers. So this I forgot about this browser.
Oh no.
So I'm still getting I'm still seeing every so often somebody will say will get a message that says, hey, you need to be an IE or you have to upgrade. It's like, why would I get this message and I'm using Edge? It's like, well, did you set compatibility on? Who set that? Oh, I must have done that. It's like, turn that sucker off. Anyone still in compatibility mode, turn that off. If look, but I'll get an error. That's the point. That's the point. You want those things to get an error. Otherwise, they'll not learn. They'll never learn. Whoever it is that you're going to, they'll never learn. You need to report to them, hey, your stuff sucks. They'll say, well, you need to be using IE. Oh, that's right.
Oh yeah.
That's what they call community sourcing of fixing. It's like, hey, I'm just reporting. Google's is still the same over here, at least as far as the look. They clean. Look at this. They put Office and Netgear. Look what they did over here. I'm trying to look at new things that has been done. And
so I've got Opera running. I've got Pale Moon running. Here's
next thing you're going to tell me you're running on Ubuntu.
Waterfox.
I'm on Windows 11 on my new machine. My old one is still Windows 10-ish. Well, at some point we'll get there. Say when you're a big corporation, it's a little bit slower to move along. But I think new folks get theirs on Windows 11 already. Look at that. Learn Git branching. Check it out.
Oh yeah, Learn Git branching is a great site. It doesn't load on Falcon. That's one of the reasons that I love running all of these different browsers. Because it doesn't run there. SeaMonkey. It's another.
Sea Monkey, I haven't seen that one in a while.
Yeah. Let me see if I can get a new tab here and see if this will load. Learn to get branching JavaScript. Ah, yes. See, runs here because it's a good site.
Look at that.
This is a great site to learn how to do Git branching. Here's number one. It asks you to do a Git commit.
Oh, it gives you examples and it gives you the muscle memory for the commands.
That's right.
Oh man, I got to do this again. Hold on a second. I need to teach some people. I don't have time anymore. Learningbranching.js.org.
Yeah.
Okay, let's put that in the chat.
I'll have it in our link.
Put a link in there because this is a good one.
And all you have to do is walk through this, and
all you have to do is walk through.
Yep.
Look at that. IceCat.
Another browser. Interesting.
IceCat.
Yandex. Yeah, I know. I've got way too many browsers.
you have all. If you were like, it's like someone who would think you're a QA person or something.
I know. I'm just that kind of person. And the last one I have is Otter.
Otter. Swim, Otter. Otter. Look at that. What? And they all. A lot of these look very iOS-ish.
Yeah, most of them are Chrome. I apologize. I do have one more. This is Iridian.
Iridian. There we go.
But yeah, most of them actually are Chrome-based, right?
Right.
So Otter, actually Otter's not. Otter is based, I believe, off of Qt.
Here it is, Qt.
Yep. I don't know if you remember, Qt used to be the way that people would do front ends.
That's a long time back that I remember.
Yep.
Huh. So a lot of these things are still alive. We just aren't noticing that they're still alive, and they just found a way to live in the new world.
In the new world, they do. And what I like to do is blow up people's browser histories, right? I like to be that like 0.01% of people that hit a site with Iridium.
Mm-hmm.
There aren't very many using them, but yeah.
Nice.
So that's the browser history. Yeah, the Learn Git branching though, great resource. I'll put a link to that.
Yes.
If you want to know, how to find all of these browsers, alternative to
Alternative2.net.
Yes, sir.
Check her out.
Alternative to Chrome. I can say Edge there, but I put Chrome, and it gives you the hundreds of alternatives to Chrome. All these different browsers.
There's Brave.
Vivaldi. Opera.
Opera, of course.
Or I'm not running Tor. Right? The Onion browser. It's actually Tor is the Onion router, and the Tor browser uses Tor behind the scenes.
Got it.
Chromium, which is
Chrome, yes.
Waterfowl, which I'm running. Microsoft Edge.
There's Edge.
Pale
Moon.
Yandex. Yeah, built on Chromium technology.
Okay. So in some cases, though, why would they make these newer browsers? What are they attempting something that's niche or different?
All right. So.
Or just someone says, hey, the source is open. I got nothing to do today. I'm going to make my own browser. Where are these coming from? What's driving them?
So some of these are passion projects. They just have to be.
They actually are passion projects. Hey, I'd like to do something. I want to make something my own.
Right. So let's go to the official website for Falcon, for example, which is the one that I'm on. So
Falcon.
It's a reasonable thing for me to come to.
Sure.
But here's about, and let's see if they say why. Cupzilla released 2010.
2010. It's 12 years ago.
Written in Python. Been completely rewritten in C++ with the Qt framework.
Uh-huh.
And yeah, it's released as part of KDE,
Uh-huh.
and that's a web front end. Um, that's not a web front end. Excuse me. That's a windowing system for Linux. It's a
Got it.
desktop,
The desktop.
and so this is just the browser for that. It's now no cross-platform because Qt allows them to be cross-platform without having
Right.
to change a lot of code.
Exactly. Looky look.
Yeah. So
Falcon
yeah,
is a KDE project. Falcon theme. Design based on Swift theme. Oh no, that's the website.
yeah. So here's the source. Browsing on GitLab.
So
Let's see.
you can muck around in GitLab with it or GitHub. GitLab.
This one's on GitLab. Yeah. If it loads, eventually it'll load. Come on, baby.
Takes a while. Because you are the master. A lot of commits. Respectable. 70 megabytes worth of stuff.
Yeah, I'm trying to see when the last one was though. Come on. Not loading. It would really be a shame.
Oh, I know.
If you weren't able to load it on the browser.
I like it over here in GitLab. They have the CI/CD configuration on as a button at the bottom. By the way, that's a nice feature.
Yes.
It's not exactly in the same place there in regular GitHub.
Changelog. The last release was January 31st, 2022.
All right.
So unfortunately, it's not loading the whole thing, but
it's probably. If you haven't been there yet, pardon me, it's going to take a while for. There we go. Yeah, it did say 69 megabytes worth of stuff.
Right, but here, so this is just the, last update.
Mm-hmm.
Right, a month ago is the last of the last updates in the auto tests. 4 days ago, there we go.
Right, and so you can download the executable straight up, or you can come over here and make your own version and compile it.
Absolutely. Here's the way that we can build it.
Oh, there we go.
So why would there be 200 something browsers? Because somebody cares enough about that to write a browser.
Or to write their own nuance of a browser. I mean, there's no browser. I don't imagine they would take this and simply recompile it with a different name.
No.
I mean, what is the point? Like, for example, well, when you have source code like that, you can go and do a name change, logo change.
Yes.
Potentially, but then, how would they know you've done that or you've taken it? Well, the moment you start selling it, they'll catch you. It's just like any open source licensing situation. If you're caught essentially not following the terms of said licensing, then they'll come get you, and they can find you. Especially some of these tools, I understand, when they're doing like code review, the code sniffers or the scanners will find when things are not in compliance.
Yes.
They look for compliance items, and they'll say, hey, you have this, and you did not register your GPU license statement. It's missing.
It's based off code that you've not appropriately attributed.
Exactly. That is one of the settings that when you're doing this, and say, well, I'll compile it myself, I won't get that complaint. And then you realize that when you try to do it in Visual Studio Code or one of those, like, hey, those tools are, because you allowed us to install on yourself, are cloud aware. And they're like, yeah, you tried to get past my cousin on the web, didn't you? Well, I'm on-prem, but I got the same code. And I'm telling you, no, I got you. Right? If you really want to get away with it, then outsource me and redo it. Good luck. What's the point? The point, again, is if they want to do it, they want to do it because they want to get past something. And what does that buy them? They're not going to be able to sell it. They're going to get caught.
Yep.
Don't try to sell. We catch you. Nice.
We catch you, then we kill you.
Yes, we take you out of the internet. We shall remove your presence. Let's see. Oh, wow. I'm just looking over here for some of the, looking at the browser stuff because I have it on mine as well. Would I do that on my main machine? No, I think I would not do that. I would do it on my other machine though, the Play machine, to see
Yes.
what it would do.
So alternative2.net, just go through, pick all the browsers that you feel like, and at least get 5, right? Once you've gotten past the first 2 or 3, okay, 4, right? There's Edge, of course. There's Chrome,
Hmm.
Firefox, maybe Opera, Brave. That's 5. You get up to 10 though, you're getting up to browsers that you haven't really heard of, or
Right.
possibly you haven't heard of.
Right. Well, if there's no point of using a browser, you don't understand what it does anyway, right? So
Right.
I got a browser because I like the name.
Yes.
So I like Brave. I like to use the Brave browser. I like the Falcon because it's a cool name.
Well,
All right, but it's got a purpose though. So think about it.
here's the thing. Here's what you can do, right? You, Mister
You out there?
Mister Low Code.
Yes. Ah.
Can you use Falcon to do low code programming?
Well, technically speaking, here's the first thing I would open up in that. I'd go first. I'd go see if it goes to Office.com.
Yes.
Then I would open up while I'm there, make that Power Platform or PowerAutomate.com, and if I get that far and I hit create,
You should be good.
it should be good, right?
Yeah.
Because
a lot of the browsers started out on Linux. A lot of the ones that we're looking at now, the Linux ecosystem is a lot more like a field
yes,
than an old growth forest. Okay, so in Microsoft and in Apple as well, we have a lot of these pillars, right? These singletons,
right,
like Edge and Chrome and Office, right?
yes,
These applications that there's only one of them and it's very big and it's very tall, but you don't have that much in the Linux system.
right.
You have a lot of smaller applications, but a lot more of them. So you got greater diversity, which is
Got it.
All right.
Fun stuff. All right, we covered lots of topics over here. This might be a good idea to find a stopping point. Because I'm going on my our little vacation next year, so there's no show next week.
No show.
I'm going to disconnect completely. I'm actually going to do something I haven't done in forever, which is actually leave all my work machines, even my Play machine, at home. The only thing that's going to come with me
is your phone,
my portable computer, together with the other pad portable computer.
Yes.
Which is essentially like I haven't left work, frankly, because they have all the bits anyway, right? What can I do? Well, I may not be able to code. I may not be able to create PowerPoint presentations. But if I dare open up a PowerPoint presentation to build while I'm in Disney, I'm going to get smacked. So
you should. Absolutely.
It's not going to happen.
All right. Well, be safe. Have fun. Have a good weekend. Have a good trip. Have lots of offline fun with the family.
Yes, so folks that are following me regular, they can go ahead and follow that fun over there. For folks that are watching, yes, I'm taking a trip, but no one's actually leaving my house. Yeah, I'm looking at you trying to find out. Well, Ralph's leaving home. Let's go over there. Because I've made arrangements. I won't tell you what those are, but let's just say they involve the cloud and they involve physical people. There you go. How about it?
And we'll be back not next week, but the week after. And the week after, we might have a guest. Who knows?
That's true. There's one guest that I was hoping to get also in very soon, a person who showed, and so this is on the gaming side.
Yes.
This is just a teaser for potentially this guest. This guest has figured out. So say you have a game controller, and right now you want to do something like an action game where you have to control all the 5 different areas and do all these action pieces over there. Now imagine you had only one hand to do the same thing, or imagine you don't. You're like, you have an accessibility issue and you can only look or you can only touch, or maybe you can use your tongue or you can step and do that stuff. He's figured out how to map any controller of any type of game with a framework to a accessible part that fits whatever your accessibility issue is.
Wow.
And he's put it into open sourcey thing in the cloud. And because he's done that, he's very, very good at low code because he's done it with not much code. And when I heard that, I'm like, I'm going to get this guy in the show. I can't, like I said, no, beyond that, see if you can find him. If whoever finds him, go ahead and try to say, is it this person? And then I'm going to say, well, if that's not the person, I'm going to bring that person on the show too. For sure. Right. But in the meantime, it probably is that you might find him. It's like, yes, that's the person. Tell him to answer his email and come. But that's what I would look forward to. But I'm just dropping that out there because even if we don't get that person right away, the concept that the cloud, again, a resource for finding things that if there's something that you think cannot be done, freaking look for it. Chances are someone has done it.
Absolutely.
And do not dismay. Go find it. Will it cost money? Maybe, maybe not. But there's no point of figuring that out until you actually look.
And I'll tell you what, always remember before Google, right? Before Google came out, people said, well, why would anyone do a search engine, right? We've already solved that problem.
Right.
Because there was Ask Jeeves, there was Yahoo, there were all of these things that were solving the problem that
Correct.
Google was trying to solve, but they solved it in a different way and exploded. So don't ever think just because the market's already open and there are people in the market that you can't.
That's right. Yeah, so just don't copy us. That's all we say. Copy is one of a sincere form of flattery, perhaps, but there's no point. The whole point is that you're going to do it. You're not making a copy. You're taking it,
extending it, expanding it, taking it in a new direction, or applying it at a different place. It doesn't even have to be new. You just have to put it to a different place.
I say, well, here's this over here sitting there, and that's sitting over there. Yeah. All right.
Let's get off. Let's run away.
We're gonna go. Thank you very much, Sir Lair, and then we will talk to you later. Thanks, Raquel. Sign us out, please.